friends, Mimi G here with another fast and easy tutorial. Now a couple of weeks ago I posted this Flutter top that I had made on the blog and it was very popular and I promised that I would do a tutorial, so I thought what better way to do it than a freebie for YouTube. So I'm going to show you how to make that top. There's a couple of things that you're going to need. First, you're going to need to print out this piece of paper. This is linked in the blog post and the link to the blog post is in the description box below. So make sure that you go to the blog post and you click and print this PDF. This is going to contain a set of measurements that I'm going to show you exactly what to do with. Now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take two measurements. You're going to measure around your shoulder and then you're going to measure the length of your top. So grab your tape measure and I want you to place it around your shoulders and I want you to take this measurement. Whatever that measurement is for you, I want you to write it down. Doesn't need to be precise, you don't need to be exact, you just need to get a general measurement for around your shoulders. So for me, that looks to be about 43.5. So I'm gonna write on my piece of paper 43.5. Then I'm gonna take another measurement. You're gonna measure however long you want your shirt. If you want it to be up to your belly button, or you want the bottom of your shirt to come down to your hip bone, or wherever you want that length to be, that's where you're going to measure. So I'm going to measure from my shoulder, my high shoulder point, to about my hip bone. I can feel my hip bone. That measurement for me is about 22 inches, and I'm going to minus 5 inches. So my total is 17 inches. So whatever that length is for you, minus 5 inches is the second number that you're going to write on your piece of paper. Now that we have our piece of paper and our two measurements, we can talk about the rest of the tools you need to get this top made. Okay, so what I want you to do with this printable piece of paper, this PDF that you printed out, is to find your shoulder measurement along the shoulder column. So for me that was 43.5. So I fall about between 41 and 43, or I'm gonna go 44 to 46, which gives me 7. So I'd rather go higher than lower. So I'm gonna take that measurement on the side of it, which reads under the radius column, and for me that number is 7 inches. So I'm going to write down 7 inches. And now I don't need the shoulder measurement anymore. We've converted it to a radius. Now the only other measurement that we need is the length of whatever your top is going to be. So for me that was 17 inches. And so now that you have those measurements, what we're going to do is talk about the tools we're going to need. So you're going to need a loose fitting tank top like the one that you see here. This is not a very fitted tank. It's slightly loose. It doesn't have to be super loose, but I don't want it to be super tight on you either, okay? We are going to add some ease to this anyway. So you're going to need to get your tank top out, and then you're going to need to get at least 2 yards of knit fabric. I'm using a linen knit blend, which I really love and have been using quite a bit this spring and summer. So go ahead and grab your 2.5 yards of fabric. You're going to grab your tank top. You're also going to grab a ruler, a chalk roller if you have one, and of course you're going to need your scissors. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fold our fabric. So I have my fabric folded in half with right sides facing the length of my fabric. And so I'm going to have it folded out and I'm going to make sure it's kind of straight. And then I'm going to fold this over again. And we're going to make sure that we have enough for our flutter. So our flutter measures 13 inches, but we need to add our radius measurement. So for me that was 7 inches. Whatever that radius column measurement was for you, you're going to add it to 13. So for example, my radius is 7 and the length of the flutter is 13. So I'm going to add 13 plus 7, which gives me 20. I'm going to make sure that I have at least 20 inches measured down. So perfect, 20 inches. So that's how you're going to know if you have folded over enough fabric. Once you do that, go ahead and grab your tape measure so we can start creating the curve of our flutter. Okay, once we have our tape measure, what we're going to do is first we're going to measure down 7 inches and you're going to make a mark. Let me get a better marking pen so you guys can see. So I'm going to measure 7 and I'm going to make a mark. And then what I want to do is I'm going to place my finger here and I'm just going to pivot and mark 7. Pivot. You're going to be marking whatever your radius is. Now I have this curve here that you can see. Now from here, I'm going to measure down 13 inches. And we're going to do the same thing. Measure down and make a mark. Once you have both half circles drawn, go ahead and cut them out. Follow your dots. Now we have the flutter portion of our top. Now we're going to create the underlay. Okay, now we're going to work on our tank top. So the first thing I want you to do is to lay it flat with your fabric, of course, is folded in half. And I want you to lay your tank top out. And you're going to fold the top onto itself like this. And what you want is to have at least 3.5 inches to 4 inches here. That's how you know that you've turned over enough. And what we're going to do is we're going to mark the top of this in a straight line. And then copy your curves. And then copy along the sides. So you can use your ruler if you'd like. And then you can go ahead and remove your tank top. Now we're going to add 1 inch to the top of this. So I want you to measure out 1 inch and make a line, and then you're going to join the sides like that. And then I need my top to be 17 inches long, so I'm going to measure from the top, not from the very top line, but from the first line, 17 inches, and I'm going to make a mark all the way down. And now I want you to round this off a bit till you get to this other corner here. And then you're going to cut around. Now we have the under portion of our top. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to mark the middle. So what I want you to do is I want you to fold this in half. And then right at the center fold, I want you to make a little snip through all layers, so that you have a little V right in the center. Now, since our right sides are already facing each other, we're going to go ahead and pin. We're going to pin down the sides of our top. We're going to sew down the sides using 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. You're going to sew both side seams the same way. For your underarm seam, you're simply going to turn under 1/2 inch and then sew along the curve. You're going to finish both underarms the same way. Now I want you to grab your flutter and I want you to fold it in half. I want you to do the same thing. I want you to snip right into that middle. Now we know that this is the front and center back. Okay, once you finish sewing down your sides, you're going to turn your top right side out. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that your flutter top is also right side out. And we're going to pin these together. So what you want to do is you want to slip your top inside. And we're going to, let me bring this a little closer to me. And what we're going to do first is we're going to pin center front to center front. So remember, you have that center notch on the front, and there's going to be no real difference in front or back. And you're going to go ahead and pin. So the wrong side of the flutter top is facing the right side of my top. So I'm going to pin there first, and then I'm going to pin the back one. So I'm going to match those notches and I'm going to pin. And now what we want to do is we're going to go to the sewing machine and we're going to stitch together the top portion of our top to our flutter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin at the edge of my top, right? And then at the other side, and then of course we have the center notch already pinned. And we're going to sew across. And then we're going to do the same thing with the back. We're going to baste this together and then we're going to fold it over to create a casing. Okay, so I'm going to start by stitching down using a basting stitch. So it's just a very long stitch. And I'm just going to create a basting stitch so I can baste these two together so that we can turn it over to create our casing. So now we have our top attached to the flutter and we're going to baste the other side the same way. Okay, so now when you look at your top, if you fold your flutter over the top, you see that we have attached the flutter to the top, both to the front and to the back. So it looks a little weird right now, but it'll all start to come together. Now I want you to go ahead and grab some elastic and you're going to cut the elastic the same length as your shoulder measurement minus 2 inches. And now we're using 3/8 of an inch wide elastic. So we're going to fold 5/8 of an inch all the way around. You're going to continue pressing all the way around the top edge. Once it's all pressed all the way around, we're going to go to the sewing machine and we're going to sew 1/4 of an inch away from the raw edge. Okay, I went ahead and added a couple of pins to my fold just to keep it all together. And I'm going to start to sew about 1/4 inch away from this edge here, all the way around. So I'm going to stop about 1 inch short of where I started, leaving a 1 inch opening. That's where we're going to insert our elastic. Okay, now you should have finished your underarm seam and that should be pressed. And then we have folded over the top edge all the way around and we left a 1 inch opening where we're going to insert our elastic. So grab your elastic and a safety pin. You're going to put your safety pin through your elastic and we're going to go in through that opening and we're going to go all the way around until we come out the other end. What I want you to do is when it comes out the other end, I want you to go ahead and pin these two together and then grab part of your shirt so that it's pinned to your top. And then go ahead and adjust a little bit and go and try this on. Make sure that it fits. If you want it a little tighter across your shoulders, simply pull some of the elastic a little bit more, maybe cut off a 1/2 inch or 1 inch depending on how much you want. And then we're going to stitch these two together and close out our opening. To close out the opening, we're just going to pull this and then you're going to put your needle exactly where you stop stitching and continue stitching. Now you can see our top taking shape and the inside of our top. This is where your arms obviously are going to go in. And so now all that's left to do is for us to finish the hem of our top and of course of the flutter. So I'm going to turn a 1/2 inch all the way around my top and I'm going to press. And then for my flutter, I'm going to turn in a 1/4 inch and then I'm going to turn over a 1/2 inch, and I'm going to press that all the way around, and then we're going to sew very close to that folded edge. Okay, so I have pressed under my hem for my top, and I'm going to stitch all the way around. You are all done. Okay, so if you want to add straps to cover your bra, if you want to wear this with a bra, what you can do is you're going to measure the length of your bra strap. So wherever the front of your bra strap, start measuring there, and then measure all the way over your shoulder to where your bra strap is attached to the back of your bra. Whatever that length is, we're going to do a 2.5 by whatever that length is rectangle here, and that's going to be our straps. So I'm going to say that for me that was about 10 inches. I'm just making up a number for myself right now because I don't want straps. But for you, what you would do is whatever that length is, you're going to measure that by 2.5. Let me add another 1/2 inch there. There we go. So 2.5 by whatever the length of your bra strap is. And then what you're going to do is you're going to cut it out. So you'll be cutting out 2. Now what you're going to do is you're going to press under on each side a 1/2 inch. And you can make this strap as wide as you want. If you need to make it wider, just make it wider. And now you're going to stitch along the edge. So what you're going to do is once you have your straps sewn, you're going to you're going to put on your shirt, and you're going to measure where your bra is. So I want you to put it on, and then wherever you see your bra straps, let's say it was here and here, I want you to go ahead and put a pin. And then you're going to grab your strap, and you're going to place it on the inside, and you're going to pin, and it should be at least, I guess, about 5/8 of an inch, and you're going to stitch it right over your existing stitching line, and then you're going to do the same thing in the back. Mark where your bra was, and you're going to pin, and once you stitch across the top, you will have your straps in place. And do that for both sides. Well, that's all there is to it. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. Until next time, peace.